Welcome back to the WeBus Podcast. Today we are tackling Father's Day. It's consistently the least celebrated major holiday in America, and that's not because we don't think dads matter. That's because dads are expected to need less. They're expected to handle it, to be steady, to provide, not to make it about them, and not to ask for much. So Father's Day becomes a grill joke, a pair of socks, a last minute gift that you get from your kids. And underneath that, a lot of fathers quietly carry more than we can talk about. Most dads don't say they're struggling, they say they're busy or tired or fine. And that silence adds up. This episode isn't about competing with Mother's Day or any of the other major holidays. And it's not about gifts and it's not about hype. It's about asking a deeper question. What does it say about our culture that we expect fathers to carry so much and need so little? At WeBus, we believe dads aren't broken. We believe that we are never meant to do this alone. And maybe Father's Day shouldn't be so small. Maybe it should be an opportunity for us to celebrate the rad stuff that we all do every day. So let's talk about it. I got on the podcast with me today, Jonathan Troup. He's one of our board members in WeBus, and he's been with us for a very long time. He also helps out a lot with members and member inquiry stuff. And today we're going to be chatting about Father's Day. And I guess I'll start with this, Jonathan. What do you feel about Father's Day?
Yeah, thanks, Wes. I appreciate it. I think for me, Father's Day is one of those days where I feel like it's either not deserved or, it's one of those things that like just kind of has to happen. It's on the calendar. It shows up. If you were to ask me the date of Father's Day this year, I'd have to look at a calendar.
I have no idea.
No idea. It's
Nope.
sometime after Mother's Day, sometime in June, and that's about it. It's
Dude,
one of
I
those
probably
days.
would have had a hard time even saying it was in June, to be honest with you.
I just know it's after Mother's Day. That's about it.
And I think that's kind of the bigger question to ask is like, why? Why don't we know the date? Why don't we look forward to it? Why don't we care about it the same way? Everybody knows the date of Christmas. Everybody knows the date of Easter. Everybody knows, if you're a dad, you probably know Mother's Day as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're making sure
Yep.
you're not messing that up. You're trying to remember your anniversary and all of these dates that really just show other people how much you care about them. And then when it comes time to have other people care about us, we're kind of like, ooh, I don't know about that, right? Like, actually, I don't really want other people to care about me or to put me in a spotlight or to get me a bunch of gifts because that's not very dad-like. That's not very man-like,
Mm-hmm.
right? What are your thoughts on that?
I do feel, especially when it comes to gift giving and stuff, it's either it'll be, a last minute gift or, oh crap, it's the morning of Father's Day. Like, let's get something together and show dad, maybe we'll have a small barbecue or something. I'll go cook some steaks on the grill or something. It feels very much like almost like a burden, almost like a day where I'm like, well, now, I kind of have to, like, if everybody's paying attention to me, the spotlight's on me, like, now what?
Yeah. Exactly. And now I have to perform almost in a sense. I'm here on Father's Day. Thank you so much for coming. Oh my gosh, I would rather not be doing this at all. Honestly, if I had my choice.
Yeah.
And that's another thing is it's like, okay, well then Father's Day shows up and you're expected to do a bunch of stuff that you don't even really want to do in the first place. That's a whole nother thing, like why do we feel like we have to abide by the rules of Father's Day in a sense? Go cook some steaks, hang out with your family, make sure you're present, all that stuff, get some presents from them, and then probably do your honey-do list the rest of the
Mm-hmm.
day.
Yep.
Right? Make sure you knock that stuff out too. Don't forget about that. If you could have your best Father's Day ever, what would that look like?
I before last year, and this would be a shameless plug for WeBus Camp, but I would say before last year, and this is totally unexpected, off the cuff, but I would say it would be a day spent with my family. Wake up in the morning. I love to ride motorcycles. But since leaving California, it's not something I do a ton in the Texas heat. It's not really a thing here. When you're getting passed by semis at 90 miles an hour, nobody really wants to be on the highway on a motorcycle in Texas. So it would be getting up, maybe going for a motorcycle ride, clearing my head, just enjoying the day, coming back and spending a little bit of time with my family. But really, we're talking maybe a 2 to 3 hour, just kind of me time, and then coming back home and spending the rest of the day with the family. I don't really know what that looks like, but So the shameless plug for WeBus Camp is I had the opportunity last year to spend Father's Day with a group of dads, focusing on spending time and like being very intentional about the time that we were spending together. For us to be able to sit at Mount Rushmore, which for me, in 39 years of my life, I never would have thought I'd be spending Father's Day with the founding fathers. But what an amazing experience to be able to sit there and just take in the beauty of nature and be connected with other dads that are going through similar things. So for me, until last year, I would have had an entirely different answer of how I'd like to spend my Father's Day. But for WeBus Camp, to be able to sit there, out in nature and write letters to my children of all the things that I just wanted them to know, the things that I couldn't get out, just, I had to spend intentional time to make sure that I could put pen to paper to write those letters to my kids. That's how I would choose to spend Father's Day moving forward.
I love that. It's like you're not with your family, but you're thinking more about your family than you probably ever have, and in such an intentional way
Yeah.
that when you get back, it's gonna be like we didn't do that on purpose, having, We Bus Camp on Father's Day. That goes to show you, we didn't even know when Father's Day was. We made the camp right in the middle of it because it's, like, such a slow thing on our priority list that, like, going to WeBus Camp in June and being around a bunch of other like-minded men who want nothing more than just to be better. They want to be better for their family. They want to be better for themselves. They want to be better for the friends around them, for their coworkers, for people they come across in the grocery store. They just want to be better. And by being surrounded by a group of guys on Father's Day who's not only like, we're not going out and getting blasted. We're not going out and hitting 18 holes and just drinking the whole time on Father's Day or something like that. We're like sitting down, like you said, and writing letters to our kids on how important they are to us and to our wives and how much they've done for us, and recognizing just gratitude of what an amazing life we have been able to live up
Hmm.
until this point and going forward. Like, if that doesn't scream like, what I wish fathers would do more often, I don't know what does. Like, let's get around like-minded men. They're trying to be better for the people around them in the most present and, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but, like, pointed way, like, hey, I am here to be better, like 100% in every way, physically, mentally, spiritually, all of that. This isn't meant to be a plug for WeBus Camp, but just at WeBus Camp, like, when you left there, how did you feel?
Man, the craziest thing. So I've been a part of WeBus now going on 3 years. Actually, I think I just passed my 3-year anniversary. It was like the probably maybe the very end of January in 2023 when I joined up, because it almost perfectly aligns with when I lost my job, leaving my last company. Yeah, I was only in WeBus about 2 weeks when it happened.
Whoa, I just see the picture of you in your old shop
Yeah,
doing a Marco. You looked totally different back
yeah.
then. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I was absolutely, just a totally different human being. Talking to these guys on Marco Polo for 2.5 years. Like I had poured my life out to these guys. I'd spend early morning walks, listening to videos, recording videos. I get up super early in the morning. I'm like a very early, like get it done at 4 o'clock in the morning kind of guy now, which I never was before. So most of my videos are recorded in dark, very difficult to see me when you're interacting with me. But I feel like when I got to WeBus Camp, like I had known these guys for my entire lifetime. I had known these guys like since childhood. It was the craziest feeling. I'd never met, I would say probably at least 90% of the guys that were at WeBus Camp in real life. Like I had talked to them, I had interacted with them, I had poured my heart out to them, I had shared heartache and heartbreak, I had shared like real life things that I don't even share with people I sit 5 feet away from.
Yeah, totally,
But
totally.
leaving WeBus Camp, like it just such a tremendous time to be able to be intentional with spending time like working on getting better. I go to the gym to work out my muscles and my brain a little bit. I read books to improve my life and the way things are going on. But I spend time at WeBus Camp and I spend time in WeBus to improve who I am as a person.
What's funny to think about is I feel, anecdotally, I've owned a CrossFit gym for 15 plus years, and I've been around people trying to improve themselves quite a bit. And what I notice now that you said that is that the people that put the most back into themselves, so spiritually, physically, mentally, all of that, they're the ones that actually like really enjoy celebrating themselves too. Like they'll have their birthdays. They're like, my birthday's coming up. I'm so excited to celebrate my birthday. Or like, Father's Day's coming up. I can't wait for Father's Day. It's almost like the better we are to ourselves, the more we know we deserve others' love. But the worse we are to ourselves, so we're not exercising, we're not getting out and doing our steps, we're not eating right, we're not hanging around like-minded people, we're around a tribe that we don't really want to be around, right? Like all of that stuff brings you down and doesn't make you want to necessarily celebrate.
Hmm.
What are
Yep.
your thoughts on?
I do feel like as you're saying that, I'm starting to like kind of put the puzzle pieces together. It's super interesting because it's almost like it becomes like a birthday or Christmas or New Year's or whatever it's going to be. It becomes like an annual reminder of all the work that I haven't done, of all the things that I didn't do. And for me, I started my journey in 75 Hard and about 3.5 years ago. But before that, it was 37 years of failed diets, failed exercise, failed this, failed that, and from to the outside world, I had spent all of this time getting degrees and doing really well in school, getting a high paying job, doing all the things that one should, but I wasn't treating myself well. And I wore it. I wore it as a 30-pound dude. I wore it on the outside. Everybody could see I wasn't doing well. But for Father's Day or Christmas or birthdays, like it becomes like an annual reminder of, man, remember what I said I was going to do for this last year? Like I didn't do it. And it just becomes like this chunk of time of just another reminder of the failures that or the things that I'm not following through on doing.
I love that. What if we turned Father's Day into more of a check-in and less of a celebration, It's like a day to check in with yourself. What did you do last year? We do that every year on New Year's Eve. We go,
Hmm.
okay, next year I'm going to do this better. But what if Father's Day was the day that instead we did our gas gauge and we
Hmm.
took a second to be like, okay, where are we at with our possessions and our people and our home and our job and our wherever? If you guys don't know what the gas gauge is, it's something we use in WeBus. It's got 7 criteria that you rank on a 1 to 10 or 1 to 100 scale, and then it allows you just to tell people around you, "Hey, my gas gauge is at a 75," without having to say a single emotion or anything like that. You
Hmm.
just get to say where you're at, and then people can go from there. But anyways, I love that idea of like, hey, maybe Father's Day is an opportunity for you to reset or to pat yourself on the back for the momentum that you've gained and that you want to keep it going, right? Like that's a pretty cool way to look at it. And I think that having WeBus Camp right around Father's Day every year does two things. Number one, it gives you an excuse to say when they ask you what do you want for Father's Day, you go, I want to go to WeBus Camp. Because we always say nothing, I'm fine,
Yeah.
right? But you can say this year, I want to go to WeBus Camp. That's what I want for Father's Day. Because when I'm at WeBus Camp, I know I'm going to be a better father. Right? And so let's do things that are gonna actually make us better, that are gonna get us towards our goals, that are gonna get us closer to the things and the people that we want to be, right? I love that idea.
If I'm remembering the tagline from last year's WeBus camp, is like, "This is the camp your wives will want you to go to."
Yes, exactly.
I can't think of a single person that left WeBus camp that didn't just have like an incredibly like high level of emotional connection to the other guys that were there and came back to their families like recharged and re-energized. Usually you go on vacation, you spend a few days, you have a few drinks, maybe you drink too much one day, you feel hungover, you feel like trash, and then you like drag your body back in the front door of your house just completely drained. Like it's the exact opposite with WeBus Camp. At least for me, it was like I came in that door just like with an outpouring of love for my family. Like, let's freaking go. Let's do this thing. Like, I spent all this time thinking about what it was to be away from my family and why they meant so much to me and connecting with other dads that were going through it. I think I would really love to see Father's Day kind of turn into, instead of you're checking in on annual goals at New Year, like, oh, I want to lose weight or I want to eat better or do this, I want to, run another marathon or, do another Ironman. Instead, like for Father's Day, that becomes here is a reflection of the things I did as a father. I got to go to my kid's school. I got to have lunch with my son during, a random Tuesday because I spent intentional time to go and do that. Here are the things that I really enjoy about being a father. Yes. Is life perfect? Is everything great all the time? No, but I spent intentional time to reflect on my year as a father this last year and then set goals of things that I would like to do to connect with my family moving forward. I feel like that for me is how I'd like to start treating Father's Day kind of moving forward.
I love that, man. That's so awesome. It's almost just like a checklist that you're going to go through every year to be like, okay, top of the list, was I present with my kids, with my family, and if I wasn't, can I be more present? You think about that question and you think about presence with your family. What does that look like for you?
Man, that's tough. It really hits home. My daughter's 13th birthday was over the weekend, and for dads of teens, Godspeed. It's already becoming a major challenge. But to that, I will say that of all the things that my wife and I have talks about, discussions about, being present is one of the most challenging things for me mentally because I feel like I've got a laundry list of things to do. Like if you asked me, uh, top 5 things I need to do at my house right now, it would be, fixing the dishwasher, moving a light switch, you know, redoing the backyard, reseeding the lawn, fixing the landscaping. It's all the things that I need to do. And that's like kind of mentally what occupies my mind day in and day out. But if you ask me like the last like 5 times I set intentional time with my kids, I have a really difficult time coming up with that. And this weekend was a kind of a reminder of like, hey, my daughter's 13 years old now. It won't be
Ugh.
long before she's driving, before she's hanging out with her friends, before, the days of me coming home and having her jump into my arms, like will be gone. Turn a cold shoulder because, I'm just the guy with the money.
Yeah, yeah, and the car keys.
Money in the car keys. And for me, like it was a reminder this weekend to like just sit down, slow down, and just be a part of the things that are going on. You know, the ability this weekend to sit down and play video games with my son for 2 hours, it was something I could probably look back at the last 6 months and count on one hand the last time I had like true intentional, like no expectations of like exercise or physical activity, just sitting down to just be present, be in his world for a couple of hours.
I remember hearing somewhere that the feeling of anxiety, like in the moment, isn't actually like, oh, I'm anxious about this moment. It's that you're anxious that what you're doing isn't what you should be doing to be productive.
Hmm.
So you're like, I have all these things that I should be doing, fixing the dishwasher, working on the lawn, doing whatever, but here I am playing tea with my daughter and I should be doing instead. But really, like, I mean, if we took 2 seconds to pause and to be like, "What really matters?" You'd be like, "Obviously, this really matters. Obviously, playing tea with my kid or being with my kid or doing whatever with my kid matters more than any of these things." But that's kind of the whole point of this podcast is that 90% of the dads you ask out there, "Hey, do you care about Father's Day?" They're gonna say no, and in fact, they probably wish it wasn't a holiday. It'd make things a lot easier for them, right? But the point is that society has put that on us. Society has told women that, hey, they should love Mother's Day. They should expect it. They should expect their husbands to do things for them. They should be getting things for Mother's Day. And if they aren't, you know what they should do to their husbands, right? Like, but when it comes to Father's Day, the society has told us the complete opposite of like, no, dude, you should shut up, be happy that you're just here, and go get doing the things you were supposed to be doing, fixing that dishwasher, doing the other stuff. Like that's what you should be doing as a father. That comes from old school thinking. When we really sit back and I think about it, me on my deathbed, I'm not going to be pumped I fixed the dishwasher. Like I'm going to be
Yeah.
pumped that I went to the park with my kids and didn't look at my phone once. Because in my opinion, that's the hardest thing that you can do as a dad right now is to actually be present. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Yeah, there are reminders that show up every day. And, God bless my wife for being one of the ones that will give gentle reminders. Maybe some guys aren't so lucky to get gentle reminders that like, hey, like, how are you doing right now? Are you here with us? Are you here with us? And she won't push me, she won't yell at me, but she'll give me gentle reminders sometimes. She'll say,
Just a
hey,
slap on the back of the
yeah,
head real
like,
quick.
are you here with us? And I'm like, it'll kind of pull me back to like, no, I'm not. Like I'm a million miles away.
Yeah, I was at my top right now.
Yeah, or I have all these other things that I should be doing right now, but there are times where that gentle reminder is all. really takes to kind of pull me back into reality and to stop
Yeah.
thinking about all the things that I'm supposed to be doing and just physically be here. And actually, not just physically be here, but mentally be here as well. Because I can drag my body around like a zombie and physically be anywhere I want, but mentally, like being there and actually participating is something entirely different.
Well, that's tough, man. Like day after day, it becomes easier and easier to get pulled away because life is demanding your attention. And I think that was like one of the big things that WeBus Camp kind of did for me is when I got back, I felt like I had a longer period of time that I was present before that kind of started to like life started to get back. It was like I was came home like, no, I am a present dad and this is what I do. And I'm going to give my kids this letter that I wrote for them. And I'm going to go to the park with them. All of a sudden you're like, your whole homeostasis or nervous system is kind of reset and you're like, okay, now I remember what's important. And I feel
Hmm.
like we just need that at certain parts throughout the year to just kind of be like, oh yeah, dang, I was like your wife says, hey, are you here with us? Right. And you're like, oh shit, yes, I am here with you. I think Father's Day should be one of those for us where it's
Hmm.
like, okay, dads, we get it. Like you don't want to make it a big deal, then don't make it a big deal. And instead, what you should do is ask yourself, how much have you made it a big deal all year long to be present? How
Hmm.
much have you made it a big deal to be a great dad, to go to the recitals, to go to the parent back to school nights, to go to the, or even just the date nights with your wife and leaving the kids home with somebody? Like,
Hmm.
how often were we present enough to, I don't want to say deserve Father's Day, but for us to be like, dude, I deserve this Father's Day. I was a badass dad this year.
Hmm.
I was super present. I was super there with my wife and everything. And you know what? Just like a way that a mom would be like, hell yeah, I deserve this. You know how much I do every year? Dad should be the same way. And maybe that's why we aren't. Maybe it's because we just aren't present enough and we feel like we don't deserve it. So here's your calling from WeBus down. Let's be present this year. Let's really do our best to put the phone away, to be at the playground with our kids, to be at the recital with our kids and our family. To
Yeah. I've heard this thing the other day. I was watching a video online the other day, and it's, these parents, they sit their kids down. There's like three kids, probably under 15. And they said, hey, well, what were the last like five, what were the last actually just name one gift that you got last Christmas. Just one toy that you got last Christmas.
yeah, right.
No idea. Every one of them was like, or one was like, I got socks. And he's like, yeah, you did get socks. All right. What else? Like, what toy did you get? And he's like, oh, I got this toy that I play with. And they're like, that was actually 2 years ago. Like, that wasn't
Yeah,
last Christmas.
yeah.
They like the recognition that like the toys and all of the presents that you get like really don't matter. And like I'm trying to instill this like this mantra of presence over presence. If that makes any sense to you, like I don't know if that's
Sure.
a thing. Maybe it exists
Should be.
already. Like presence over presence,
That's awesome.
it's something that like your physical presence of just being like in the room, being engaged. I go and work out with my kids 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I get them up and we do workouts, CrossFit style workouts, and make them up in my gym or make them up in my garage. We just go out in the street and we're just working out. I'm physically there. I don't have my phone with me unless it's for like a timer or music or something, but like my presence, I feel, goes infinitely further than a gift with, wrapping paper and a bow and like a nice little card over it. So like for me, presence over presence is a mantra like I'm really trying to embody moving forward.
I'm writing this down. Presence over presence. This is so awesome. And I think that should be like our theme for Father's Day this year, is like,
Hmm.
hey, like yeah, we get it. You don't want presents. You don't want any of this stuff for Father's Day. Then be so present that you're just like, dude, this is all I need is to
It
be here
is the
with
gift itself. Yeah.
yeah, this is the gift. Is being here on this day without my cell phone, without anything else, and being able to actually take it in for just one day, right? One day where you're like, how is it to be with my family all day
Yeah.
without a cell phone, Like, and what thoughts go through my head and how can I quiet those thoughts slowly over time?
Hmm.
Because we all know that, like, man, presence over presence is a really amazing way to live. Jonathan, thank you so man. Yeah, I appreciate you so much, dude. We know that dads also have a very low attention span, so we're going to make sure we keep this podcast short and under 30 minutes for them too. But any parting words on Father's Day or anything else, Jonathan, before we go?
I'd like to share like one story, just kind of put it out there in the ether. It's like I
Please.
I didn't grow up with my biological dad. So Father's Day for me was never a thing. Like from age 1 to age 13, when I didn't know my biological father just wasn't in my life, Father's Day for me, like, was really never a thing growing up. I grew up with a single mom. So Mother's Day was just it was the thing, man. We spent time in school making gifts for our mom. I remember making like a little wooden candle holder and we put like Elmer's glue and like rolled it in little pebbles.
Yes.
You're like making little, engraving it or putting Sharpie on the bottom with your name and the date that you made it. I remember making a lot of gifts for my mom for Mother's Day, for Valentine's Day, for Christmas, for like everything was about giving gifts to my mom. And like, I spent a lot of time in my younger years, like not wanting to be that father, like not wanting to be the father that was physically absent, emotionally absent. So it took a lot of, well, I would say a lot of pain and frustration. I lived out a very early part of my adulthood, trying to prove to the world that I was a different father than my own father. So Father's Day for me really, it's like a kind of a bittersweet day. I live half of it thinking of the father I didn't have growing up, and now on the opposite side, like the father I want to be moving forward. And my
Man,
yeah,
go ahead, please
I was gonna
finish.
say my life, just feels like this constant tension or constant struggle of like not being my own biological father and then moving into, the father I want to be for my kids.
If you like, one of the things, I mean, the main thing that we have in WeBus is that we don't share advice, we only share experiences. So here's my shared experience in this area, brother. Like, same thing. In fact, we celebrated Father's Day for my mother because we recognized that she was the mom and the dad. And so every year we would actually get her Father's Day's gifts and we would get her Mother's Day gifts because we were just like, Lou, we know you're doing both roles.
Mhm.
And like, you're a stud. Good job. Like, keep crushing it. And we'll celebrate you as much as we can. But if you look back at, like, and I'm thinking about my father as well. He wasn't around. He died when I was very young. And if we just look at the fathers that we have compared to the fathers that you are, would you say that you deserve Father's Day compared to your old father? Right? Like, and that's like, you're way more present than your other father was, brother. And
Mhm.
we're like freaking out that we aren't super, super present, right? And you are a million times more present than your father ever was. And look at how well you turned out. So
Mhm.
we can only imagine what this next generation is going to be like, having dads like we do in WeBus, going around the world and trying to spread this positivity and be present and actually be with your kids. Like, we can change the world one dad at a time because they're going to change the way that they interact with their kids one family at a time. And that's going to be a generational change that we see going forward. So I got to say, from my side, looking over at you, you're crushing it, brother. You are absolutely crushing it.
I appreciate it, Wes. I would say the same to you, man. Like my life would not be what it is today without WeBus.
Yeah. Same. Ditto. We'll end it there, you guys. Hey, if you're interested in checking out WeBus, go to WeBus INT, that's WeBus International spelled short.com, and fill out the interest form. We'll reach out to you from there and get you set up into a group that works best for you. It's a low price, $10 a month. A little bit more if you enter into the school curriculum. I guess I shouldn't say the money part. So you know better about this, Jonathan, than I do. It's really cheap. And it's an amazing community of dads that are not going to give you advice. They're not there to do that. They're there to just share experiences with you and to show you you're not alone and that you can get past it because they have already. So thanks for hanging out with us, you guys. Jonathan, thanks for spending the time with me today. I know it's short notice, so I appreciate you hopping on, brother. And we will see you on the next one.
I appreciate it, Wes.